Rump. I'm just calling it Money Story because I think I'm funny and it's nice to have a title for this live video. Extractive Trickery. Let's talk about extractive trickery and can we market a business without it? And I want to have a discussion about me and what this term means to me because I've been actively thinking through some of my offerings as a business coach, things I want to do in the future. And a client of mine came up with this term or threw it out there in a conversation a few weeks ago, and I have taken it and making it my own because I think it's brilliant. Extractive trickery. We see this every day in business. I see it all the time in what so many coaches and formulas are trying to make me do in my business. And extractive trickery is where we're kind of looking to trick people into getting something from them, to extract from them, to get them to buy, to get them to sign up for our sales funnel, for our email list. And I've have really struggled myself engaging in extractive trickery. In my own business, I am a financial transformation coach. I am a StoryBrand guide. I've worked in marketing strategies. I've been a business coach. I've helped businesses start their businesses. I've helped them seek funding. I've helped them improve themselves. And one of my biggest struggles is my own marketing. It's my own, what do I say? How do I find new clients? Most of my great clients come from referrals. They come because someone has said to them, maybe you should talk to Brian. Brian thinks a bit differently. Brian has a different perspective. Maybe he can help you out. And we start building relationships and we work together. So that's the path that's worked for me. But then there's always this pull of how do I scale that? How do I bring my knowledge and what I do to more people? So we apply the frameworks that we know. I'm a certified StoryBrand guide. I believe StoryBrand should be baked into the DNA of every business. I struggle trying to use it for myself, some of the things we do, because they just don't seem to fit the clients I work with. I came across recently my friend Macy Robinson from who I met through StoryBrand is developing some of her own IP and thought leadership around being a thought leader and the types of guides we are. And from her, I've learned that I'm a transformational guide and experience facilitator. So I struggle with some of these typical marketing strategies that we use, having systems that uh, we see everywhere because they don't quite fit me and what I do and who I work with. At the same time, we need them. We need systems. We need a system to bring our message to new people. We need a system to invite people into a story to experience the transformation we can provide. So I get caught in the struggle of what to do because I heavily resist things that might work for somebody else. We see it all the time. So great ads that get us to click on something. Someone who's email newsletter or email we want to sign up for. A lead generator, whether it's a PDF or a video course or something like that. We're using these little nudges and tricks, and I love nudges. I teach or I've taught finance and economics. I love nudge economics. I love behavioral economics. I love these little nudges. I love knowing bits and pieces of psychology, but there's some I just refuse to use for me because they can be extractive trickery. You get things like, how to price, and there's the common things we've probably heard over and over and over again, charge $47 instead of 50, because psychologically we want to save that $3, or where we position on a web page, where our calls to actions are, all these little nudges to try to guide us towards something. We can use these complicated nudges and systems to get people to sign up for stuff, and I just don't want to do some of that. I don't want to go out and find and reach and get thousands of people to download something where only one person is going to call me. It's just not the game I want to play. And I really, really refuse to use extractive trickery in my business. So I'm a financial transformation guide. I worked in banking to start my career. One day I just understood, or, to take back how I got here. Um, I like to say that I help people rewrite their money stories. And I remember day I was sitting in a college class, financial management class, and I'd struggled a little bit and had to really work hard. And there was a day where all of a sudden I got it and I could look at financials and see the story of a business. And from there, I got into banking. I wanted to be in commercial business banking and work with businesses. I got to go there. I've helped businesses get government grants. I've managed an accounting practice and worked in an advisory and consulting role for all sorts of businesses. I've become a financial planner, all things money, money structures, um, all of that. And I love the story around money. And as I work with people to rewrite their money stories, it's so important to me not to be using these like little tricks to like extract them from that. A lot of those tricks are, they're rooted in financial anxiety. So there's a duality of like, we're trying to make it easy on people to say yes and invite them in. But there's also a little bit of, we're going to use little things in their brain to, nudge them towards doing things and maybe get them to do something they might, not fully have thought out. So it's really, really frustrating. It's rooted in financial anxiety. As business owners, it's really easy to buy a system or follow along what somebody else does to try to see how you fit into that. And in my own struggles, and this is where, other coaches will call BS on me, which I appreciate. Sometimes we need that. And you want to take steps and create those systems, um, but they have to feel good and they have to fit for you. And all of my work is so heavily relationship based that it feels like if I trick someone or do something that's this extractive trickery, it's just not a very nice way to set up a business. I want to invite people to freely come in, invite me for my perspective, and do business with me. The money stuff's going to work out. We're going to find ways to make or save you the money you pay, but it's leading people down that road. It's putting in the real work to create the relationship. And extractive trickery, I think, tries to shortcut that sometimes. It's trying to get people to kind of go faster down your funnel than they normally would have done. And in StoryBrand, when we use StoryBrand, a guide calls a hero to action. So we have an obligation to call people to action. I have an obligation to sell to people. And it might sound like I'm rambling here a little bit, but I'm trying to out loud have a discussion of this duality of, I want to call people to action. I want to bring them into my world. I want to do business with them, but I don't want to shortcut it with those little extractive trickery things because they just don't work for me. They work for other products. Often we don't even see it as extractive trickery. If it's something that we like and wanted, we're like, I thank the algorithms all the time for bringing me things I didn't even know existed. And then they solve a problem for me and I want them and I buy it happily. And I love that. But it's, for me, the challenge is how to not use this. How do I put the real work into making sure that I'm like this, getting out in the world, getting my message out there, trying to find new people who might resonate with just something I say, enough so that they're willing to book a call with me. They're willing to go to brianrump.com and book 30 minutes with me to see if we connect, if I can help them with their business without trying to overly lead them to buy something right away that maybe they're not sure what they are getting into. So, this is what's been on my mind. How can I remove that extractive trickery from my business, yet still make sure that I am showing up as a guide and I am inviting people into a story over and over, telling them what I do, how I can help them without the little tricks. And, thank you to Macy and her content, which is the Own Your Impact podcast. You should definitely check that out. I am trying extra hard to be who I am, show up who I am, and try to make sure I'm taking the extra step to remove financial trickery from my world. The other thing is I'm a trauma of money certified practitioner. Trauma of Money, the book just came out a few weeks ago. The author, Chantel Chapman, has changed my life and paradigms around how she shows up in her program, how she shows up as an educator, as a team member with a team of faculty she brings to educate these things. And, removing financial shame, increasing discernment are major cornerstones of that program. And as I show up as a business owner, trying to take all of that I've learned in the financial system to then help people kind of break through a lot of those molds and models, I feel kind of extra called to try to figure out how can I do things without those little bits of trickery, also knowing that I am running a business, and running a business, being a transformational guide, requires getting paid for that. There is a exchange for that, which I um, love doing. I know that the people I work with can get great return on investment, um, or they get a big old window into their business that helps them make some other decisions. Either way, it's a journey that's valuable to go on. So, um, yeah, that's where I'm at. This is a live recording. Maybe you're watching the video. Maybe you're like, who's this rambling guy? Um, but I'm curious what it means to you to not use extractive trickery. Are you using extractive trickery? What do you think about ways I could avoid using a extractive trickery? And one of the ways I think about it specifically is how do I make sure that I start engagements and I am not charging too early? It has worked out really well for me to meet with people a couple times. Often we do a couple um discovery calls. We do some maybe free coaching. I give them some value, help them understand how I think, and then we do business. And I love that path. And I think I want to commit to doing that, even though it's easy to say, hey, I want to have um, a lower entry product that, costs some money and is a sampler. I kind of don't want to do samplers. There's this like in business, typically, again, every business is different. I often recommend it to people. I've bought lots of sampler entry level things. I kind of want to, allow that person to come without a fee. And I don't love saying free because there's nothing free, right? You know, Transformation an investment, requires an investment in time, energy, focus, money, and you have to invest time to engage into it. So when someone's listening to this, if you're 14 minutes into this right now, you are investing time. I appreciate that and I have to honor that. Energy, focus, and it requires a money investment. And it always hurts a little bit, right? I don't come super inexpensive. I don't like using words like cheap or expensive because at the end of the day, we'll make the money investment work. That's why I work with business owners, because I know we can get big swings, to one or 2x or 10x our investment working together, I just know will happen together. That's just something I'm super confident about. But we have to invest time, and I have to invest time in doing my part to build a relationship. I have to be able to see you, understand your business, and see if I'm just a fit to help. Um, and that just requires relationship building and investments on both sides. And I just think that's so hard to do with extractive trickery. Um, so yeah, what do you think? All right. So I'm Brian Rump. I'm a financial transformation guide helping you rewrite your money story. We go from financial anxiety to profit confidence so you can build the life that you really want. I believe that all problems in business are the result of financial anxiety and living in a bad money story. And I want to help you live in a better money story. I also think when we choose to get in business, we choose to get into money and we choose to get into marketing. And most people who get into business and are good at the thing they do avoid the money and they avoid the marketing. So I want to help you walk through the money journey and take you into the marketing journey. The spoiler alert is I believe all problems are financial anxiety, all solutions are marketing, but we need to know how that fits all the way through the process. And we need to know that it's connected to the story we are living in, the story our business is living in, the story we are inviting customers into a story of, where we are the guide and they are the hero. And all these things have to fit together, and that requires one on one coaching. I believe we need coaches for transformation. We need to invest in that transformation. And I know that I have some express passes for those who like to be really efficient with their money, time, and energy investments, that we can work together and make all of those things happen quicker. I'm not for everyone. I think differently, bring a different perspective, but I'm cutting edge and I know it. I've worked with so many people who have seen so much success, and I just want to do more of that. And I know that what I have to offer just it frankly works. I'm not arrogant about a lot of things in my life, but I am arrogant about that and confident. I recognize that you want to try before you buy, and I want to help make sure that we start off our relationship by investing and building um, in each other. I'm here to guide you. I'm not here to do it for you. I like to work deeply with people. My advice is potent, and I'm going to see you like no one's seen you before. So, always ask, are you ready to be seen? If you so, I invite you to book a call with me. You can do that at brianrump.com. And if you're not ready, well, I'll be here when you are ready. So if you want to live in a better money story, reach out and talk to me. I'd love to help you rewrite that money story. And in the meantime, thank you for listening to my ramblings on extractive trickery. And thank you to my client, you know who you are, who came up with this term. And I look forward to sharing my journey with you and helping you work. And I hope you all hold me accountable to not using extractive trickery in my methods to try to bring my message to you and to try to invite you into a story where I can be your guide and you can live in a better money story. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.